Hello everyone! In today's video, I would like to talk to you about NgRx framework. NgRx is a really useful tool for building reactive applications in Angular. The best known part is, of course, Store library. But NgRx is so much more than that. Aside from application state management, it also contains features such as simplifying management of entity data, providing set of helpers which give more control over rendering, supplies developers with tools, and much more. In this presentation, I will briefly cover the most important functionalities of this framework. But before we actually jump into the topic, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Przemek Turczyński and I am a software developer at Synergy Caffe. I assume that you already know the fundamentals of Angular. Without previous experience with this framework, it would be very difficult for you to understand the concept I would like to present today. So, what is NgRx? In a nutshell, it is a framework for building reactive applications in Angular. NgRx provides libraries for managing global and local state, helping to isolate side effects to promote a cleaner component architecture, contains a library for entity collection management. It allows the possibility to integrate with the Angular router. It provides additional reactive helpers which improve rendering and contains developer tooling that makes the experience better when building many different types of applications. We will start discussing the NgRx framework with the main and best known part, a set of state libraries that directly helps in managing the application state. In the beginning, it would be good to answer the question, what is state? State is simply data. Applications have several kinds of state, including application state. It is session data that determines how your application works. For example, filter values, router configurations, data fetched from REST endpoint, user informations, state of UI elements like buttons, form, progress bars, error messages. Different kind of data is persistent state. It is permanent data that you store in a remote database. We can also distinguish shared state. It is data that are shared among application, component, and services. In the context of NgRx, we are primarily interested in the application state. NgRx makes use of Redux pattern to implement application state management. It is good to know the most important features of Redux, so let's discuss them briefly. Redux holds all shared state as objects in a single central store. All objects in the store are immutable. You will never directly set any property of any object held in a Redux store. You update the store by dispatching actions to the store. An action is like a message. It always has a type and often a payload, which is the data for that message. Actions sent to the store are processed by reducers. A reducer is a function that can update the store by replacing old objects in the store with new objects that have updated state. All reducers are pure functions. It means they have no side effects. The store publishes an event when it is updated by a reducer. Your applications listen for store events. When it hears an event of interest, the application pulls the corresponding objects from the store. After clarifying the basic concept, like state term and Redux pattern, we can continue discussing the NgRx state. NgRx state is a set of libraries. It consists of store, effects, router store, entity, and component store library. Let's begin with this NgRx Store. Store is a global state management for Angular applications inspired by Redux and powered by reactive extensions library. You might use it when building an application with a lot of user interactions and multiple data sources, or when managing state in services is no longer sufficient. Key concept of NgRx Store. First, type safety is promoted throughout the architecture with reliance of the TypeScript compiler for program correctness. Store is built on a single, immutable data structure which makes change detection relatively straightforward. It also provides mechanisms that optimize retrieving data from your state. Encapsulation. When using the NgRx effects and store, any interaction with external resources, side effects such as network requests or WebSockets, as well as any business logic, can be isolated from the UI. NgRx provides serializability. This allows the state to be saved to the external storage, such as local storage. Because store uses pure functions for changing and selecting data from state and provides the ability to isolate side effects from the UI, testing becomes very straightforward. So let's go deeper into the store state management lifecycle. Its main building block are actions, reducers, selectors, and store itself, of course. Actions express unique events that happen throughout your application. They are dispatched from components and services. Reducer is a pure function that handles state changes. Reducer takes the current state and the latest action to compute a new state. Next is selectors. Selectors are used for obtaining slices of store state. State is accessed with the store, an observable of state, and an observer of actions. At the end of the presentation, I would like to present you a simple web application which helps you with experimenting with NgRx tool. This simple apps consists of only 3 pages. First one is list of items. Second page is details of items, and the third page is shopping cart. There are not many features, but you can add some item to shopping cart, and you can manage with quantity of items, or you can remove item from shopping cart. But I think it's enough to start learning NgRx with this example. It's really important to install Chrome or Mozilla extension. It will help you with learning NgRx framework. Try to find Redux DevTools, and after installation of this extension, you can see additional tab in Developer Tools. Here is Redux tab, and it helps you with inspecting current state of store, and you can see also flow of actions on the page. Also, router actions are connected to these DevTools, so you can see initialization of page, request of navigation, retrieving of products. Each action reflects some logic in application. Also, you can inspect current state of application, clicking on action, and you can see what is currently under the web. And I think it's everything from my side. The code is visible for you by clicking the link in the description. Commits in a repository reflects chapters from this presentation. Most presented libraries has its own separate commit. There is a really simple usage of most presented libraries, so you can inspect every commit and find basic usage of these libraries. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press thumbs up button and remember to subscribe Synergy Code channel to get a notification about next episode from Synergy Caffe.